Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yep. Good. Okay. If I am yelling too much, please let me know. I'm Xavier Ametller Serrat, and I'm going to do a quick lightning talk about daring to try, some things I tried in my work life that yielded surprising results, or at least unexpected. Before we start, I would like to thank sponsors and volunteers for making these conferences possible. And I would like to add a disclaimer. I don't know if you're aware of the survivorship bias, but it's basically that sometimes you only look at the people or things that survived. And I think it's one of the reasons I may be giving this talk. It's the fact that I survived the trials that I will be sharing with you. So take everything that I say with a pinch of salt. And the next thing I'd like to share before we start is that, I don't know if you read Better Allies, but one of the lists that appears in that book is the list of privileges you could have at work. And I would like to share that I've been very privileged all my life in this regard. So those things helped me succeeding at the trials that I will share with you. So some of the strange things that I've done in my life that I wasn't expecting them to happen. When I was 26 years old, we had a magazine in this country about .NET development in paper. And one day I was reading that magazine and I found this ad. Would you like to work in Microsoft? And I said, yep, of course, I would like to. I was working in this very small company. And I sent this very simple email. Hello, I've seen your ad in the magazine, and I share my CV, just in case it's of your interest. And taking this small action triggered me joining Microsoft after a while. So, well, those kind of things you could try, sometimes they happen. Some years after, back in Spain, I was working for Sunweb. We were developing software, and I was constantly arguing with my IT director, we need more knowledge on unit testing, design patterns, this kind of stuff, solid, and we never found the budget or the time to do the trainings. And at some point I fed up and I proposed him, hey, what if I prepare the trainings? I can do it in my spare time, the company pays for it, win-win situation. And he said, yes, why don't we? And that was the beginning of me doing some trainings afterwards for, well, once you have it prepared, why not try to sell it? The next surprising thing that happened to me was that after a while I was helping some testers improve in their careers, and I was one day looking in O'Reilly catalog for a training on basics, and I didn't find one. I found a lot of things but not training on the basics of testing. And I wrote O'Reilly saying, hey, I'm not finding such a training, and I was bold enough to add this line. I was wondering if it's there. If it's not there, maybe I could prepare one for you. And the answer was, we don't have it, let's have a conversation. And after a while, again, I was doing a training for O'Reilly on testing. But you see more or less the pattern. You ask for something that chances are very low. Sometimes these still happen. Closer to nowadays, and when I was starting to work with Safari, I was like, okay, this training path is cool. I want to invest more in it. I was switching jobs, and influenced by a friend of mine, I decided to ask the companies to work 4 days a week. So I could work the 5th one on the trainings. And with a very interesting conversation with Jose Carlos, CTO from Leaful, I ended up working 4 days a week for Leaful Connect. Not only he or the company accepted that, but he, let's say, doubled down on the bet, saying that maybe we can even help you on that. And that was the case. And early this year, I was finishing the 3rd book from Lisa Crispin and Janet Gregory. They have a training on holistic testing, and they look for trainers. And I went to their website and said, okay, that's what you need to be a trainer for their franchise, let's say. And I said, okay, I think I checked most of the ticks. So I wrote them again. And after a 20 minutes conversation and a couple of exchanges, they said, okay, you look like a good candidate. You just need to do the training, and from now on, you could be teaching with us. And the last wacky proposal that I have done to someone is at my current job. I came back to Sunweb now, and the proposal was this time, I would like to be a technical coach. I've never done that. They don't have the role, and it was like, I think that could be interesting as an experiment. So we just agreed to have a meeting. Let's explore what can we do here. So yeah, lots of successful, nice experiments, but for those experiments to happen, there has been plenty of not so successful. I don't like to call them failures because there's always something you can learn from them, and I always try to ask for feedback when those things happen. But yeah, if you take a look at all the companies that I have applied, okay, I'm on the other side, and all of the things that could go wrong, there are plenty, and people I propose trainings, academies, and some are big like O'Reilly, but some are really small like Girona, a small training center, and they also said no, and no big deal, you just try again if you are interested. This came with a kind of mindset change on my side. When I was starting my career, I was kind of ashamed of failure, rejection, no, and you come to think of it as something more natural. And I also, something that I learned by saying no to other people, because I also say no when I'm interviewing and I'm doing other activities, and sometimes it's very context dependent, it's not on you, there are so many reasons, so I try not to take it personally and just look ahead with good energy and good vibes. Levers, what do I think has helped me succeeding or having this luck, let's say, at this set of trials? Communication, I try to be gentle, bold, but direct. I come with a demand, but not, let's say, a demand. I come with proposals, but never with demands, because they can do whatever they want with my ideas, with my suggestion, with my contact, and they are free not to answer, for example. If they do not answer, I like to send reminders. And to have peace of mind, I usually send the reminder. I define myself a deadline, like I will send a reminder in 3 weeks. So during those 3 weeks, I'm not constantly checking my email, did they reply, and so on. That gives me peace of mind. And the reminder sometimes is on the lines of, could you please let me know, if possible, when would I be able to have an answer? Something as open-ended as this, because it's not their duty to answer me, okay? What else? I try to respect other people's time. I do my homework. I have done the search that I need to do and so on. I don't want to waste people's time, because if I feel I'm wasting my time for somebody else who's an unknown, I will hardly ever answer. But if I see that the person has done the homework, it's easier for me to provide. I try to be creative. I once replied to a video with a video, and surprisingly, I was told by the person who did the original video that I was the only one out of 200 persons who were answering who did reply with a video to the video. So getting a little bit creative sometimes makes you stand out of the crowd. Positive tone and so on. I think most of these things are logical. And yeah, in the first contact when you're doing cold door, ask for redirection or the right person, because you never know if you're talking to the right person. So add one line at the end saying, if I'm not talking to the right person for the purpose I'm following, could you please redirect me or put me in contact with this person? And an interesting thing that these kind of experiments happen to have, is that they kind of create a compound effect. This is pure speculation, okay? But I really think that working in Microsoft helped me get into Safari, and working in Microsoft and Safari helped me get into the training from Lisa and Janet Gregory. I don't really know, but I think it has an impact. And the last thing that helps, which is kind of surprising, but it's true, is that everyone has a different definition of normal, okay? And sometimes you think you're asking or proposing something wacky and something completely out of your wall, and you're asking for something that the other people feel as normal. So my last 3 jobs have been a 4-day work week, okay? And in the first company that was something strange, but in the second and the third company, it's normal. So I get in there, and I'm not the only one who's working 4 days a week. There are like 6 or 7 persons more. So sometimes just ask you think it's something strange, but it's normal. Okay, triggers. Why did I do all those things? So of course I had my motivations, money, prestige, this kind of stuff. But what are really triggered to me sometimes is that I think these activities have really low risk, a part of the time that you invest on that, and you can time box your activity. I recall saying, for the O'Reilly proposal, I will dedicate this afternoon. So I did 3 hours, I had to pick the kids from school. It's like, whatever I have at -5, that's what I will send. So there's a kind of trials, kind of exercises that really require low amount of effort, but if they work well, they pay good dividends afterwards. So with that in mind, finishing, I would like to ask you, what would you like to try if in case I did inspire you to do something like that? And thank you very much.